What are your hardest clients like?
I don't take them.
You just won't take them.
I won't take them. Yep.
What's the
I
like
like people who
cutoff?
are open-minded, who have a good, healthy relationship with matchmaking, who know what they want, who have a key goal. There's some people that just I've had conversations, they're just looking for a needle in the haystack, and I've said no. I'm not the person for you. I'll help you find somebody who is.
So they're seeking a dream girl or dream guy that just doesn't exist.
It could exist. It could just be really, really hard. Sometimes we have to get a little creative, and it might just be before I agree to take them on, I might have to do some research. I might really have to look. I might have to have conversations with other matchmakers. I might not be able to find the person that they're looking for. So sometimes it's about changing their mindset, or maybe it could just be coaching, and like I'll help you get to that individual or help you figure out a way. But that's the great thing, is that I'm very, when we're having that initial conversation, it's also kind of an interview. I want to make sure, one of the very first questions I ask people are you coachable? Are you excited about this process? Because if you're not, it's not going to work. Because I need you to trust me. I am the subject matter expert.
Who is less likely to trust you, men or women?
I mean, it's men don't think they need matchmakers, because men, women, we outnumber men. Women are graduating college and are more educated and earning more money and things of that nature. And then women on top of it, we, want children, and biologically, we can only have children to a certain age. Men don't feel that they need to work with a matchmaker. But they're still single.
So matchmakers like yourself are overloaded with women?
Yes and no. I mean, it's definitely, it's tougher to find some men, but I take men and women clients. Some matchmakers only work with men. Some matchmakers only work with women.
Who's harder to please, men or women?
It's about an even.
Really, even?
I had men client who filled out the survey, and it was amazing. And I said, you literally said nothing wrong about this individual, and you don't want to go out with her again. Why? And he couldn't answer it. And
Wow.
then I've had women that are just, I've had women that could be the height, it could be, the career, it could be all of this. I want women to get out of the mindset too. And I think we're going to see this, as we're seeing with the way the economy is now, with what's happening. Men are no longer going to college. Men are going into, service, blue collar things. They're becoming plumbers, electricians, all of that. But, sometimes people look down on that, and that's not a bad thing. If you're in the service industry, that's not a bad thing. You don't have school debt. You're not coming out with, hundreds of thousands of dollars of school loans. They're creating these businesses on their own. They have that flexibility to be able to travel. They're making $200,000-$300,000 in their own, business. So I like women to get, out of that mindset. There's nothing wrong with that. And like, look what's happening now. Look what's happening in the tech world, in the banking industry. Like, people are losing their jobs. I, just remodeled a bathroom, and I was on a 6-month waiting list, because the contractors had, they're constantly working. So don't sleep on those. Don't sleep on the blue collar guys.
And what kind of women should men stop sleeping on?
Um, that's a good question. I don't think it's at that point. I don't think it's, the women. I think, some men, yes, are intimidated that women might make more money than them, that tend to be a little bit more powerful. I just think it's, you communicate and use, don't waste people's times. If you're not interested, have those have those conversations. Thank you, but no thank you. Don't ghost. just, you'll be amazed with what could happen with a good conversation and a good communication and how things could be avoided.
Stepping back to a moment ago, you mentioned the fella who described his date, said just rapturous, everything positive about his date, but didn't want to go out with her again.
Yep.
Did he go out with her?
Nope. I said, I need you to sleep on this. I went through, listed everything out. I said she was younger, and he found her attractive, great conversation, liked her. She was currently doing her residency somewhere and would be moving back to where he was currently located. Had a great conversation. He's in his upper 30s. And I said, listen, and I had to have the conversation. I said, I need you to think about this for a second. I said, do you want to get married and have children, correct? Yes. How long do you plan on dating? Maybe a couple of years. How long before you get married? Okay. How many years do you want to be married beforehand? And then you have kids. Like, these are the things that you need to think about. You know, if you really want to sit down and have that, and like these, you know, we had that conversation. And I said, I was like, this isn't Hollywood. It's not going to be, you know, bombs aren't going to go off. It's not going to be fireworks and all of this. Chemistry builds. You have to, for prime example, I dated a guy, we went out on a date and I was like, I like him. I want to go out with him again. Second, third, fourth, fifth date. It was like, okay. I wasn't, you know, attracted to him right away. I thought he was cute, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't wait to see him again. And that chemistry was building over time. And then within 9 months, I'm in love with this individual. Like, we're in a happy, healthy relationship. Like, you have to, those things are going to build. And as you get to know someone more, that chemistry, how many times have you've seen a feature on someone and you're just kind of like you turn your nose up at it. But then as you get to know that individual, like the little gap in their teeth, it's cute. It's what makes them them. So I think people just tend to get out of their own way. They tend to self-sabotage. It's just a matter of, that, but again, that's why I'm here. That's why let's ask these questions. Let's have these conversations to get to better know the person and to be able to answer, like, is this somebody that I want to choose?
Should people have sex on their first date?
Do your thing. Whatever. Just use protection. If you're two consenting adults, have at it. I don't think it might not go very far, but whatever. I'm not going to yuck someone's.
Why might not it go far?
It might not. I mean, I've never successfully had anything that's happened. You can have sex on the first date. Doesn't mean, the passion, the fireworks and all of that. But, some people it works, some people it doesn't. Again, I just say, be smart decisions, be healthy about it.
On the smart decision bit, that kind of connects with something that I wanted to ask you on. I feel as if as a population, we're a little less prepared to date.
100%.
It seems like we're almost more, some of the conversations I've had with women and with men, there's an idealism, and which kind of fits in that 6 foot tall situation and in the money situation that you mentioned earlier, and even the plumber and service industry thing you mentioned not long ago. I wonder if you've seen this in your work. Are you working through someone's idealism, trying to get around it?
Yeah, I think, and that's what kind of happens when we're dating somebody. We kind of build this individual up, and it's this idea that this is what's going to happen. And that's what gets us caught up in something. And, I see folks do this at, third or fourth date. What are we doing? Well, you're dating, go have a good time. Like, we're not, don't build this individual up. And when we do that, and this is also one of the reasons why I say don't date multiple people at the same time, because we've kind of built this idea on there's expectations of what we think is going to happen. And when people don't adhere to that expectation, now we've been wronged and, it's doomed. But when you're dating multiple people, you kind of get to compare the two of them. You're not putting your eggs all in one basket. It's an opportunity for you. Like, when you're going shoe shopping or you're going through and having, this is how I say it for dating. It's kind of like if, many stores have a return policy of, 30, 60, 90 days. I can buy a dress and I can come home and I can try it on a few times, and I can try it on with the jewelry, and I can try it on with the clothes. And then I have an opportunity to return it. So that's kind of how I view dating. I don't like to talk relationship status 90 to 120 days until I think that person is worthy, that I'm ready to have a relationship with them, because I'm still getting to know them. You're not having date 2 or 3. You're not having conversations about, finances and politics and religion and things of that nature. You don't understand, how are they in conflict? If you had a fight with this individual, do they fight fair? Or are they nasty and name call and gaslighting? Like, I find people can't really fake who they are after the 60, 90 day mark. You're really finding out who that individual is. Does that make sense?
You do. And you also hit something that was also on my list to ask you about. The last few years of politics in this country have, everything's been inflamed.
Yep.
My girlfriend and I have had this conversation. We have different politics. We've called it sort of interreligion relationship, essentially. How big of an impediment is it for daters you speak to? Politics.
It's one of the questions I ask. A lot of times it's volunteered, because a lot of times too, what's happening, and we're seeing this now with politically, it's now going into women's rights. Mm-hmm. It's now going into other social activities. We've seen, when you had COVID, and even like the vaccine, when I, in the beginning, I was asking, are you okay going out with someone who's not vaccinated, somebody who is? I was asking questions. Are you comfortable going out into bars and restaurants now? Some people weren't. Some people, I don't want my partner vaccinated. Somebody's like, nope, they have to be vaccinated. So you're having those conversations. You're having those conversations politically. You're seeing women's rights right now and is up there. Interracial dating. You're having, abortion, pro-life, pro-choice. You're having these conversations, and it's a key part. And it's going to vary too, depending upon different parts of the country.
I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. So that's definitely a big conversation that you're having. I'm asking the ones I tend to ask, I always, there's no right or wrong answers. Tell me a little bit more about you. Tell me what you're looking for in a partner. And then I just, casually ask ethnicity, religion, politics, age.
Of
location.
those.
So the great thing is, where I am, in Connecticut, I'm an hour outside New York City. I myself date within New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. The metro, sure. New York City area, you can jump on a train, you can go wherever.
Yeah.
So, you can date. So some people are, and that's the great thing too now, post-pandemic, or we're still, I guess, kind of technically in it, kind of technically out of it. But so many people work from home. So you have that opportunity now that you can travel wherever you want. So I have this opportunity. I might, work in New York, but as long as I have internet, I can go anywhere. So people are open now to dating throughout the world, throughout the country.
Of those issues of those requirements, religion, politics, location, which is the biggest impediment, the biggest requirement?
It's not. It's usually family oriented, career, finances. It's back to those key values. Politics sometimes, kind of comes into play with it. But now it's, listen, I won't date somebody who supports this side, or I won't date somebody who supports that. Or I'm open to dating people of other political affiliations, but I want to be able to have, respectful conversations with it. I want to be able to have those, those talks, and being able to share and all of that, and being able to respectfully have those conversations. When people come to matchmakers, they are just, they want to find their person. And the people that I work with, I want somebody who's open, who's, willing to do things, and they're coachable. they're willing to, to take advice. They're willing to think outside the box a little bit. And when I call somebody up and I'm like, hey, I have this great guy and I'm going to go through everything. This is what you're looking for. These are the conversations. You're very, you like to communicate. You ask great questions. You have conversations. This person's going to talk. You're going to be able, you guys are going to close the bar down. You're going to close the restaurant down. You can have great conversations.
So it seems like you're looking for dexterity.
Yeah, I'm mirroring what my goal as a matchmaker is to bring you opportunities, to bring you introductions. What I'm doing is I'm weeding out the people who don't want to be in relationships. I'm having these conversations with individuals and saying, okay, do you want marriage and kids? Do you want this? I'm having those conversations and doing the background checks and doing these things and saying, okay, now, John, I'm going to introduce you to, 3 or 4 individuals. And let's have these conversations. And then I'm getting that feedback and I'm bringing it to you to make you become a better dater. It's just, sometimes we don't have time. It's no different from I'm doing housework or I'm working late tonight and I'm going to order Uber Eats or DoorDash. It's that convenience. I'm making my life a little bit easier.
On another requirement in some elements, we're both massive Buffalo Bills fans.
We are.
How big is sports and obsession with sports? Because I'm a sports obsessive. Does it matter when you talk to daters?
It's funny. I do find that some people say, listen, I'm into sports. I'm into this. I've met many men that don't follow sports, that don't do this. They might be into hunting. They could be into fishing. There could be women that are like, listen, I'm not, when I date, I tell people like, listen, my phone is off from 1 to 4 whenever the game is on. Like it is off. That is it. We'll talk afterwards. Like we're not gonna, but I want to be, but again, to me, like I enjoy going to sporting events. Like that is I used to have, tickets to the Yankees. I had season tickets. So like, I want to go to an event. I want to go to, this is how I have fun. I want somebody who likes sports. I don't have again, we like people who like the things that we do. So if I want to go on a, Thursday night to a game, I'm going to drive down. I'm going to call you. Hey, you got plans? Let's go. Let's go do this. We like people who like the same things that we do. So it's a part of and we know how the mafia is. We're crazy. It's an essential part of who we are. I've met numerous friends just from social media because, you like the same thing. But again, it's an opportunity. So when you're going to these events, when you're going places, constantly look. I've met men at sporting events. So don't be afraid. I mean, we're doing the same thing. We enjoy that. So that's going to be another part of an activity that we can do together. Remember that couple got married. Remember a couple of years ago, got married 50-yard line.
Yeah.
At stadium. Yeah. I mean, and they met tailgating. Yeah. So like, there's hope, guys. Like, be on there. Be on the lookout.